o'clock matchups right now.
Yes.
So right now on the floor, we've got East Valley and Kingsway Christian playing each other, and then down on court number 2, it's the Port Angeles Rough Riders and the Cascade Christian Cougars out of Puyallup High School.
Oh, that's your town. You're proud as a peacock.
That's
anytime
it.
we talk about anything south.
That's
the
it.
South Sound.
Hey, the biggest little town that starts with a P and ends with a P is my hometown of Puyallup. And Cody Shack had a great he's the head coach at Cascade Christian, and we're going to sit down and talk with him later on in the season. But right now, I got to talk to him a little bit before as they enter the SunDome, and they're looking to come back here as they're 6-2 on the season already, looking to get a win today over Port Angeles Rough Riders. And and those it's always fun to get these matchups that they wouldn't see anywhere else but at these Christmas time tournaments.
Yeah, if you got a big time team, you want these kind of tune-ups. And then also to come to this venue and get a good feel for it. So when they come, especially if you got a young core and you're trying to get them acclimated to the season and whatnot, and have them come in and play in, get a feel for the rims and just the over atmosphere. So when it's not too large when the time comes for tournament time.
Well, and that's exactly it, because a lot of people don't know from a shooter standpoint, these venues are hard. They're not that tight, intimate little high school gym where there's walls on both sides. You got a wall right behind the hoop. These, especially the baseline shots, are tough with that wide open periphery. There's not a wall close by. It's a big arena that they're shooting in, so those rims are hanging right out there in space. So just to get that shooter's perspective and feel from the wings and from those end lines, it makes it tough for kids to get their rhythm and find it early. But we saw early Fort Vancouver and Quincy had a great run. Quincy put up 17 points in the first quarter behind Ramiro Beltran's. He had 2 threes, another field goal, and a couple. He had 10 points, and he outscored Fort Vancouver 10-5 himself. The Jackrabbits up 17-5 after the first.
So the rims was very kind to him. Maybe he's been in here before.
I was going to say Quincy a little bit closer than Fort Vancouver. But,
Yeah.
That's the thing with Fort Vancouver. They're number 1 in the Trico. They're a 1A team, Quincy being a 2A team. So they're trying to match up, but Fort Vancouver got the rhythm. They end up with 22 points in the second quarter. They had 3 players in double digits to finish it out, but that 22 in the second quarter made it a 25-27 halftime. And then it was 20 more points to 10 points in the third quarter, and that pretty much put the Trappers in a place where they could control the fourth quarter, and they played that one out even. It was 10-11 in the fourth, and the Jackrabbits, getting a feel for being here and getting started out quick, as Jackrabbits do. They get out quick, but the Trappers were able to actually put the clamps on them and shut them down. So,
great names for those teams. And you put it so well. That was very eloquent, the way you put that together.
Sometimes stuff just falls out of my mouth. But we're having fun here, and basketball is what we love, and we're having a great time here. 2 full days of basketball. We got 14 games today, another 14 games tomorrow. So teams are coming over to Yakima, and a great weather window for traveling from the west side to the east side.
Can I get my weather report?
Talk to me, Al.
Look,
Give me your best Al
get
Roker.
my Roker on. So it was beautiful drive over. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Very dry, and I love waking up to some sunshine this morning. Very crisp. It's beautiful. I mean, if I'm a coach that doesn't know about this tournament, I'm a high school basketball coach, I'm going to try to get in here next year. It's a great time. It's a Monday, Tuesday. It's in between the holidays. So it's a really good tournament. I definitely would try to get my team here if I was a high school basketball coach.
We've got Brewster and La Center playing right now. Brewster, a 2B team out of Central Washington, and then La Center, another 1A Trico team. They play in the same league as Fort Vancouver. So Fort Vancouver being number 1 in that league, La Center is number 3 in that league, and it looks like Brewster is just down by 5 points. It's 77-72 in the fourth quarter, and under a minute left to play out on the floor here. So that's what the Final Score.tv is all about. We're about here to celebrate basketball, to celebrate community, to just talk about some of these amazing young athletes that we have on the floor. But more importantly, it's about community. It's about getting people back into the gyms. We're on a Monday before New Year's, and we've got we've got a few hundred people in the SunDome right now, and I plan to get more as the day goes on. And we're going to end up with a 4A matchup. We've got the West Valley Rams right here in Yakima, so they'll have a good support. But then we got Glacier Peak over from the west side. And Glacier Peak is another, so we got a 4A matchup that's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to seeing how that one runs, and we'll be here all day long. So we're having a great day of basketball, and it's just the opportunity to get back into the gyms. You don't have to come to the SunDome, but there's games being played all over in local communities. That's such a big deal to get out and support your local team.
And the most important thing, if you go to the finalscore.tv, it's so easy to pull up and get the schedule of your school, any school in the state of Washington.
Well, and that's exactly it. I've got the finalscore.tv up here right now, and I'm looking at, I clicked on the remote, and then I went to full scoreboard. So, and the first thing comes up is our 2025 SunDome Shootout. So I see the Vancouver Quincy score. I see the Toppenish was able to get outlast Riverside. And we've got Wapato and Seattle Christian. Those scores are just getting posted. And now we've got the 2 o'clock games. That's Kingsway Christian, East Valley, and Port Angeles and Cascade Christian. So, we're waiting for these games to finish up before they actually get to the 2 o'clock. So we're already a little bit behind schedule. I see they're almost ready. They're 4 minutes before they get the start down there. So a great day of basketball, and to get in 14 games. I mean, that's 7 different matchups on the 2 floors, and just a great day. Much like the Tacoma Dome, you can sit in the middle and watch both games at the same time.
Absolutely, and this is well organized. It's running really smoothly. It's just a good time. They got concessions set up. It's just fun. Plenty of parking. It's just a great day to come and spend and support, like we were talking about. Supporting these kids. And like I was saying, go to our website, go to the finalscore.tv, look up your school, go support. It's not expensive. You don't have to pay for parking.
Right.
It could, less than $10. You can go in the game, get some popcorn, and you can get in there in that building, maybe reminisce about your time.
I'm looking at that chili cheese dog later, maybe.
Uh-oh.
Or maybe some chili cheese
No,
fries.
I think you should finish that delicious breakfast burrito we had this morning.
Yeah, you know what? There's lots of good food in Yakima, and I'll tell you, this is a great venue, and this is a great town. Yakima is a special place. It's the site of the Central Washington State Fair. The State Fair now actually moved to Puyallup, Washington. So it's the home, the Puyallup Fair, the Puyallup has turned into the Washington State Fair. They were able to, one of the biggest fairs in the country, but this Central Washington State Fair is such a great time. And I'll tell you, we've had a great time getting back here, getting set up here in the Yakima SunDome, but we actually started almost a month ago. It's hard to believe that on the 5th and 6th of December, we were at the University of Washington for the WIAA 2025 state championships, all 6 championship games, and we got to sit down with some great people. And you know what? Let's go and see about one of our partners with the finalscore.tv, Kurt Warner. We got to sit down with him.
Kurt Warner, the running back Kurt Warner.
Number 28 came and sat with us down. Let's take a look at that video from back in December, early December at the football state championship. I'm Nick Beckman with my partner Bruce Lloyd, and beside us, we have a new member of the finalscore.tv family. He is a legend in Seattle. He's number 28. He's in the Ring of Honor at Lumen Field. He is the one and only Kurt Warner.
Oh, thank you very much. What a great introduction. I will have to pay you after this later.
Hey, this is a team game we're playing.
Hold on,
All right,
can I say, Kurt, make
yes,
your
sir.
move, Warner.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Talk to us about your high school level. I'm sorry, Bruce.
We were a single A school in Pineville, West Virginia. My old man was a coal miner. And where I grew up, football was life. I mean, you had these small communities, and we were rivals. We got along during the non-season type of things, but But during football season, oh, yeah. We didn't talk to each other. Families were revolting against families. In basketball season, same thing. It was the best competition, and it was friendly competition, but it was a great learning experience. Yes.
And then let me ask you this too, Kurt.
Yes, sir.
Back in the day, and I also remember this, that how the Seahawks, the Sonics, and the Seattle Mariners, you guys used to all, because y'all shared the kingdom, and you guys would hang out together. And tell us a little bit about that.
Well, there's a guy by the name of Harold Reynolds that played for the Mariners, and he and I were best of friends. He's had a great career, even outside of baseball, but what a great baseball player. Mike Moore, I mean, they just had a lot of, and then we got a chance to hang around with Freddie Brown, downtown Freddie Brown. I get to, have conversations with him and mess with him a little bit. So it was a very respectful, very nice friendship that we had, that we were able to share that in the great town of Seattle.
And we are back inside the SunDome. It was chilly at the University of Washington Husky Stadium. Cold air, wind blowing, but you know what? We're back to basketball. Football's an outdoor sport, and you got to deal with the elements. You got to deal with the weather. Everybody's got to play with it, and it was a great time. And boy, I just couldn't thank Kurt Warner enough for coming and stopping by and spending some time with us and partnering with us at the FinalScore.tv, because his role is all about community leaders and nonprofit organizations and positive just interactions all across the state of Washington. So having Kurt be part of our FinalScore.tv is such a great piece to the puzzle.
Absolutely, and what a wonderful gentleman, and just hearing some of the stories, from his high school playing days, playing at a small college, small high school, and leaving this state of. He's from the Virginia area, and leaving Virginia and going to Pennsylvania. So just and talk about his Seahawk days, and how he was an every down back. He wasn't sharing with no one. He was. They were giving the ball to Kurt.
The game has evolved, let's say, and the guys that used to play it played a different brand of football.
My favorite part, I don't know if we caught it in that interview, but one of my favorite parts, and we probably was talking about it off air, was we were talking about parking. And he said back in the day, they would park in the south parking lot of the Kingdom, and the fans would actually walk in with them. And then also after the game, if they won, they would offer them a beer. If they lost, they offer them a knuckle sandwich.
They'd still be out there. They'd still be out there in the parking lot doing the tailgating. And that's it. That was a different time that the players were just part of the community. They were doing that. And I love that Kurt decided to settle down here. He lives in Southwest Washington, down that Vancouver area now. Start his car dealership anyway, and he's done so many good things that just having him be so well connected and to be able to use his celebrity and his name recognition to help us promote what we're promoting.
Yes.
The community aspects, the nonprofit side of what we do, and just highlighting all the positive things that go on at this high school level. That there's so many people involved with doing that, and that's what the FinalScore.tv is all about, is it bringing that back to being together and getting people out and getting into the gyms. And and it doesn't stop there. So we're going to go ahead and talk. When we had another guest stop by, the commissioner of the WIA, Mick Hoffman.
Yes, we did.
Came by and sat with us at UW. So let's hear what Mick had to say.
Welcome back to the FinalScore.tv. I'm Nick Beckman with my partner Bruce Lloyd. We are at Husky Stadium, the Alaska Airlines Field. It's the 2025 WIAA State Football Championships presented by Gisa Credit Union. And joining us is Mick Hoffman, the Executive Director of the WIAA. Mick, thanks for joining us today. What a great second day of football we've had.
Yeah, we've been really fortunate. We've had some great football games. We've had 5 good games so far that were one possession or better going into the fourth quarter. So we couldn't ask for better teams. With groups like Final Score TV, where you guys are coming in and going to promote and tell these amazing stories that are going on for high school kids that we're not going to see in the draft, right? But there's great stories to be told of what kids have overcome. And I just really appreciate Final Score TV, coming up and asking to walk that path with us to tell those stories.
Yeah, and Mick Hoffman from the WIAA was clear about why they chose to partner with the FinalScore.tv. And it was so good that we're being brought in as a promotional partner now. We're not doing, for those of you looking for the games and the play-by-play, NFHS and some other platforms will have those games for you. But the FinalScore.tv is all about promotion. We're about promoting people to get back in the gyms and to celebrate these high school athletes. I'm Nick Beckman with my partner Bruce Lloyd, and the FinalScore.tv is live again from Yakima in the SunDome. And again, Bruce, I can't say it enough. I love that we're back in basketball and we're indoors. It's like 30 degrees outside, but the sun is shining. It's a beautiful day here in Yakima, and much to my joy that we've got great basketball on the floor.
Absolutely. I mean, just to see these kids, you can tell the smiles on their faces. Some of them are very businesslike. They come in here with a purpose. They want to get a win. Just to be on the stage. Yeah. Having something to do today, and fans are starting to trickle in more and more as the day go along. It's fun to just be in this atmosphere and just see. I seen one of the coaches preparing. Looking over some tape. I love that kind of stuff, to see how they're getting ready for these games and seeing the kids, get loose, get ready.
Well, and that's what it was so nice to have Mick sit down with us at the football. And what a great venue Husky Stadium is for those kids to be able to create those kind of memories. And we had all 6. I mean, from the 1B, 2Bs to the 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A state championships over the course of 2 days at UW. And the WIAA does such a great job of securing these locations. The Tacoma Dome for the 3A, 4A tournament. This SunDome is a place where the 2As and the 1As play. And then over in Spokane, they get to play over there in the 1B, 2B tournament. And what a great opportunity. And that's what I really appreciate about Mick Hoffman and the WIAA, allowing us to partner with them, because we've got the same alignment. Yes. It's about the students, it's about the schools, it's about community. It's about bringing friends and family and neighbors together, but not just together. We're not talking happily barbecue, do those things, invite people over for the potluck, but go to your gyms. Go to your community. Spend some dollars. We talked about this a little bit earlier.
Yes.
That your money goes so much farther at a high school game. I mean, and every dollar that you spend goes right into supporting that school. So you're getting a great bang for your buck, and in the same time, you're able to bring your community together. You're supporting your local businesses, you're supporting the schools, and all of those kind of things matter these days.
It sure does. And, it's just come into the gym. That's, like you said, what we're trying to do is give exposure. Let people know about these young student athletes. Let people know about people that's in the community that's really, just out there for the kids, just trying to, for life after school or whatever. But having them where they enjoy and knowing people will support them to come to the games, because it's huge to play in front of. And people always talk about what they did in high school. I went to this game. I saw this play. Because I know I do it all the time. If I meet somebody somewhere, oh, well, who played then at this school? Or whatnot, because you kind of associate sports in people's time in high school or what have you.
Well, and sports is one of those things that brings so many different economic levels and demographics together in the same cause, in the same purpose. And I mean, it's what I love. It's one of my mantras. I literally say it all the time when I'm in the gym, that all the stuff that's going on around us right now, these games that are being played in the SunDome are creating memories for a lifetime for these kids. And like you said, when you run across somebody, you can talk to them about their high school days, and they have those memories. They can talk about it. They might not remember their 20s or their 30s, but they remember high school, and they remember all of that stuff. And for me, it's so important to just celebrate that.
Yeah, but maybe what they do have memory loss on it. Sometimes people say they had 2 points.
Yeah.
But they now is 45.
Well, that's, and that's the joy of growing older and getting a little life experience, because we grew up in a time when now you got to go back on the microfiche. You got to go scan newspaper articles and box scores
you
got to
tell the truth.
Nowadays, everything's there. If you played, and if you've been the last 20 years, and that's the great thing about this SunDome Shootout. It's in its almost 25th year. Doug Burgess told me that they started back in 2001, and we're coming up on 2026 now, and this is just so much fun. And, speaking about fun in high school, just one of my great memories from just last month, because that's about as far back as I could go, is we were at UW and watching the 4A state championship game. Number 2 seed Lake Stevens versus the number 5 seed Sumner Spartans. Sumner coming off a win over Puyallup in the semifinals.
That hurt, didn't it?
Oh, no, not at all. No, I love the sports.
I
love seeing great games. But what's more important is we saw a great athlete on the Sumner side.
Goodness.
And we got to talk to Lance McGee's dad, along with a good friend of both of ours, Eldridge Ricasner. Let's see that conversation from the stage.
I tell you, he runs like a mean linebacker.
Yes,
He's got
sir.
the ball in his hands, and
Nick, he told me he was good, and I'm like, okay, it's his dad talking, right? And I'm just like, wait a minute, this kid, I'm honest with you guys, I've never seen a high school kid score that easy, 4 touchdowns in a state championship game.
Well, and that's
It's
the thing.
unbelievable.
The defense set up the second touchdown from 32 yards. He went in untouched on that one.
Yes,
when he
sir.
cut he went left, and then he went all the way right. And that opening, I told Randy Novak, our executive producer of this broadcast, that they're not going to touch him. When he cut back right, I was like, he's gone. And he was at the 25.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, like I say, give all glory to God, because like he always tell this line, hey, just give me just a little room, and then I can do the rest of it. And so far, he has done that.
I think you will be forgiven tonight. I think it's a wrap. It's sealed in stone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
I know that Lance told Coach Ross last week, give me the ball.
Yes,
Just give me the ball.
Yes, that's what he did. He said, Dad, I want to put him on my back, put him on my shoulders. Hey, I can get him to state.
What a great time that was at Husky Stadium at Alaska. The football field there with that great view. I mean, the prettiest college football stadium in the country, and we got to do high school basketball or high school football there.
Yes.
And again, those kids got to create memories for a lifetime. But I'll tell you, it was just such a pleasure as I'd watched Lance McGee at Sumner beat Glacier Peak, and I don't even think he played in the fourth quarter. They won 34-17 in the first round of the state. Then they played down at Sparks Stadium in Puyallup against the number 1 seed Vikings. I didn't think anybody was going to beat Puyallup. They were really good this year. But Lance McGee was just too much to handle. I mean, Lance, in that semifinals, 313 yards and 5 TDs in a 42-35 game. So, I mean, just a great special is a great word for it. He's a special talent. And what really ties us to Yakima is he started here.
He did?
He came from Yakima. He used to play. He
Davis.
played as A.C. Davis. He was a running back and a linebacker, two-way player. His freshman year didn't get a lot of minutes, but then his sophomore and senior, he actually tore it up. he was a running back and a linebacker,
Yeah.
and his junior year, he ended up being the defensive player of the year
Yeah.
for Davis.
Some people say he's a better linebacker than running back.
Well, I think that's what Oregon State, we'll talk about that in a minute,
Yeah.
but that's exactly it. And when he moved over to Sumner, Coach Ross just said, we're going to focus on being a running back. Well, when he was going both ways, he still had 1,300 rushing yards and 21 TDs while he was playing both sides of the ball and being the defensive player of the year. You know, and Shag has got to be so proud of his son.
Very much so. And you can see, because Shag is just one of the nicest guys.
Absolutely.
You know, I had known him from afar, like seeing him play at the University of Washington. He played on some great teams with Christian Velp, and who's going to get his jersey retired soon, and Detlef Shrimp. And I remember them going and beating Duke, and just and he played. He's only like 6'3", but he played power forward.
Yeah.
And we probably, if we went asked anybody in this Yakima community who Shag is, and everyone would know who he was. He's just such a legendary, just a nice guy, and you could see what he has bestowed upon his son Lance. Lance out here is just a great kid, and you could see it rubbing off him from Shag. You know, when we interviewed him, just what a pleasant guy.
Absolutely, and it was fun to have him sit down with Eldridge and have them reminisce about their Husky basketball time. But, you know, I mean, really the highlight was Lance, and I got to talk to him after that semifinal down in Summer, and just a well-spoken, humble kid, but he literally told Coach Ross, give me the ball, and we're going to win the game.
Yes.
And that's what Coach Ross did. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, then he went on in the state championship. He set like 4 or 5 records. He got most yards, 368 yards rushing, most points, 36 points in one game, because he had 6 touchdowns. That's the most touchdowns and the most carries on 46 carries for 368 yards. So, I mean, and they end up beating Lake Stevens number 2, 41-35 in overtime. So, you know, what a great opportunity to talk to Lance and then speak with his dad, Shag. And we're going to be back at the SunDome. We're going to take a quick break because I need to take a breath. And Bruce is going to get back to us, and we'll be right back to the Yakima SunDome. It's the Wilbur Ellis SunDome Shootout, sponsored by Zilla High School. Thanks for watching.
I think I was expecting just typical chaperone job. You know, I was making sure that the kids are in the right place, you know, riding on the bus. I grew up in the South. I figured I know this stuff, you know. And what was different was, first of all, what amazing leaders the kids were. You know, just seeing that was transformational. And then for me, living the history. I mean, being there where these things happened, you know, watching some of the videos that we've seen today takes me back to those places and just transformed me, just really learning those things.
It was amazing that my kids wanted to do that with me. And I learned something new about myself every trip. They learned new things about themselves every trip. And now they've taken that into the world with them, and I love watching them approach situations with that mindset that SAA helped form.
There are a lot of students that I've seen as part of the program. I do remember them speaking when they first got here and seeing them a year later, and they're completely different people. They've turned into people who are open to speak in public, the way they articulate things, and their just whole entire demeanor in 1 year has changed. And so as I think about where Christina is now and how she speaks and talks and interact, I think this program has been a large part of that.
I'm a little bit of a shy person, and so going first thinking, I don't know a soul besides you. I didn't know any of the people, and I was a little nervous about that. But it was such an incredible array of people from so many different walks of life, and what united them was their just commitment to learning and trying to make the world a more just place, and to learning this hard history. It was just, it kind of cracked my heart open, I felt like. So thank you so much.
Everybody in the United States needs to do this tour. Like, I really feel that this would touch our hearts, all of us, and we would get it more, more than anything, man,
And we're back at the finalscore.tv, and we're in Yakima, the East Valley. We're at the SunDome on the site of the Central Washington Fairgrounds. I'm Nick Beckman, and we've got Ryan Phillips with us today. Ryan, the assistant principal at Zilla, but more important, one of the co-coordinators with Mario Mangarelli of this great tournament.
Yep, it's always a fun time of the year for us, coordinating this thing, getting a bunch of teams here, having a good time, seeing people we know, and just watching high school basketball.
So how did you get involved with being a coordinator on this? Because I know we're almost in the 25th year of this SunDome
25
Shootout.
years going strong. So I got hired in Zilla 13 years ago. Coached with Doug Burge for about 4 years. Then he retired and passed the torch to Mario. And Mario's like, hey, I need some help running this thing. I said, I got you. I'll do the behind-the-scenes stuff and help you coordinate it. And so for the last 10 years, Mario and I have headed this thing on. So kind of got thrown into it, but it's been awesome.
Well, and Doug Burge, not to just pass over that name for you, those of you who might not be familiar with Doug, he was at Nat Cheese for 4 years. Then he was at Zilla for 25 years. Got 2 state championships, 1993 and 2014, I believe, was the last Zilla championship.
94 and 14.
There you go. So 94 and 14. And, and now he's the superintendent of the Zilla School District.
Yeah, he's really laid the groundwork for a lot of this stuff, like just from this event and just the culture of Zilla basketball and even in the lower valley. So a lot of kudos to him and what he's done. And, again, he's the superintendent of our school district. I work with him every day, and no better guy to have leading our district.
And your role at the school is assistant principal?
At the high school, yep.
Very nice.
This is my 4th year doing that.
And then now, as far as the basketball season, because basketball is close to my heart, we were talking off camera. What do you do for the Zilla Leopards during the season?
As far as on the basketball side, I go to practices, help volunteer coach at the practices. I used to sit the bench with Mario in his first couple years, and then I went into administration, and so I had to take a step back. But now I've got my own kids, coach them in youth sports. So like I said, a lot of my stuff is just behind the scenes, helping out where I can, and being an ear to Mario and helping him out any way I can.
Well, I think you're also being a little bit modest because you're on the broadcast for the Zilla Leopards basketball.
Yeah, I do help out a little with that.
You know, and Zilla, for those of you who pay attention, they're a really, you guys have a culture of winning. I mean, this year you're having a great season. Number 1 in the SCAC, the South Central Athletic, and it's 7-0 start coming in. And you've got a game later on this afternoon. That's going to be game number 9. That'll be in our 5 o'clock matchup. So Zilla going to be matching up with. Let me double check my schedule. Make sure we got Bainbridge Island. So we're getting that East-West battle going on.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the beauties of the shootout is we get these try to get these good 2A, 1A West Side teams to come over and play in a venue that they will play maybe in March too for state tournament, and then get them a good matchup with an East Side team that's on the same playing field as them. So,
well, and that's what I mean. One of my mantras is these kids are making memories for a lifetime. These kids that are coming over for these 2 days of basketball, everything from the 1As all the way up to the 4As, they're here playing. And they're having a great time. They're creating memories for a lifetime. But the opportunity for some of these kids to get this experience before March, what kind of advantage does that give them?
Well, I think it's a huge advantage. I mean, we get coaches asking us all the time, hey, you got any spots left in the shootout? Can we get in? Can we get in? Because they know the field, the size of the dome, the playing surface, the bigger court, the stands. It's much different than any high school environment you're going to find. And so they want to replicate that as much as they can in hopes that they come back here in March and compete for a trophy.
Well, and that's the thing is that shooter's perspective is a lot different. Maybe not so much straight onto the hoop, but from those wings and from those baseline shots, the hoop is just hanging out there in space.
Absolutely. And I was fortunate enough. I grew up in Brewster, tiny little Brewster, Washington, and they're here playing in the shootout. We get them in here just because I have a connection, but we played 4 years in a row here at the state tournament and played a couple Martin Luther King Day tournaments and stuff. So that was cool just to get that experience. And then now I'm here on the other side of it, helping other kids have the same opportunities to play in this event. So it's been pretty neat seeing it from both sides.
Well, Ryan Phillips, I really want to appreciate and thank you for taking some time out of a very busy 2 days. You've set up a great tournament. You guys have run this so well. It's so much fun to be at a venue like this. This is my first time in the SunDome, and I'll be sure to be back. Maybe I'll come back in March if they don't have me hanging out at the Tacoma Dome on the west side.
Well, you guys are always welcome back. We appreciate you guys doing everything you do to get this broadcast going and just adding a more fun high school experience for just the spectators, the community. It's all about the community, as you guys have talked about. And so we're thankful you guys are here, and yeah, it's fun times.
Absolutely. Assistant Principal of Zillah High School, Ryan Phillips. I'm Nick Beckman for the FinalScore.tv, and we'll be back with more conversations with a lot more people. Let's see if we can get Bruce Lloyd to come back and talk about maybe some Yakima Sun Kings.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Hot in here. This Hell's Kitchen. You got Hell's Kitchen right now, burning up. If I knew more, like if I was in it, I'm all good with it. I love it. Me too. Once I'm in the fire, I just burn. Yeah. I don't worry about it. I just go, where's it done? Yep. Let's go. There you Whatever needs to be done, let's get it done. These two are saving me, and they're saving Randy, but I know some stuff now. It's hot. Hot mic. You guys everybody till 6:30? Hot mic. Okay. Let's go. Did we turn it off? Hot mic.
The Zilla basketball program and the SunDome Shootout staff would like to extend a special thank you to all the sponsors that helped make this independent positive all.
And welcome back to the FinalScore.tv. I'm Nick Beckman with my partner Bruce Lloyd, and we are in Yakima. We're at the SunDome Shootout. It's the Wilbur Ellis SunDome Shootout, and what a great event. It's been basketball all morning, 2 courts going on since 11 a.m., and we're going all the way through till 8 p.m. And I'll tell you, this SunDome is a great venue. My first time being here. I know that it was originally constructed back in January of 1990. And as I was doing my research, because you know that's how I roll, you got to get some,
partner,
notes going on.
One thing I got to say, you be on top. You even let me use your notes sometimes.
That's it.
Hey, if I had you when I was, if we went to high school together, I probably would have went to Harvard.
You'd have had my grades.
Because you would have been you're a great note taker.
I got my first B sometime my senior year in high school. So
man,
yeah,
I would be sad.
That's how I'm all about getting the homework done. I do my homework during class, so I didn't have to do it after school because I wanted to play basketball. Had other things going on.
That's what they call preparation.
Preparation. Luck has nothing to do with it. It's all about preparation. But this is the site of the Central Washington Fairgrounds. Formerly, it was the Central Washington State Fairgrounds. The State Fair has now moved on its way to Puyallup, and the Puyallup Fair has turned into the Washington State Fair. A big venue, great venue, someplace that I've been every year of my life. I got 62 years in a row of going to the fair since I was 3 months old. But this place is a fantastic venue. We talked about all kinds of parking. It's a great venue for people to come and watch. For people familiar with the Tacoma Dome, very similar setup. We've got 2 courts with a black curtain down the middle. But this SunDome, it seats 6,195, so almost 6,200 people can sit in here. And the very first show, do you know what the very first show was? I bet you don't, because you didn't prepare.
I did. Give me a hint. Give me a hint.
The Gambler.
Kenny Rogers. Kenny
See,
Rogers.
We could be on Jimmy Fallon's Password. I think you and I would be a good team on one of those game shows like that.
Yes, the Gambler.
The password
Kenny
is
Rogers.
Kenny Rogers.
I bet you he
You're
packed
right.
this house.
Oh,
man.
And what a great venue. What a great way to open it up. But besides being a great venue for concerts and that, we're watching basketball in here, and it has a rich tradition in the SunDome of basketball. And you and I have talked on a number of occasions about just that history of teams that have played here. And share with me some of those stories that are for our people at home about the Yakima SunDome tradition of basketball.
Yeah, for me, a couple of things. Once, a couple times I came over here to watch the Yakima Sun Kings, who was formerly of the CBA, Continental Basketball Association, before the G League and whatnot. It was like a kind of minor league. They wasn't attached to no particular team, but you could call up players or get their contracts to bring them up to a NBA franchise, and a lot of great players played in the CBA level. And what sticks out to me was, I think it was around like 94, 95, the Sun Kings had a very good basketball team. I believe they won the championship, and they had 2 former NBA players on that team, Eldridge Rakasner and Chucky Brown. And I remember this place being packed, and the team that they were playing was it was Sioux Falls, the Sioux Falls Skyforce, which was coached by Flip Sanders.
Yeah.
And Eldridge and Chucky Brown ran that pick and roll like nobody's business. They looked like Stockton and Malone that particular evening, and then they were going against a very talented, a lot of guys that also had played in the NBA was playing on Sioux Falls ball clubs. Derek Martin, Henry James, that played with the Cleveland Cavaliers. So it was a really good game. I would never forget that. And then also what I remember, too, is coming down here, they would have these open tryouts. I always think that's so cool. Like, if you really think you can play, they would have you just sign up. Anybody. You see people getting out of trucks with boots on. And one particular gentleman that stood out to me was he was what you would call, he had a bad body. He was like but this guy, he looked like he probably played the YMCA every single day at lunchtime. He was giving people the business at this tryout. And I never will forget that. seeing where you could just sign up and come play. Now, I didn't come down to play. I came to watch. So I don't want anybody to get it confused. But definitely, I've seen some very good basketball here played in this arena.
Well, exactly, and that's the thing, and that's what a lot of people. That's what I love about those kind of leagues, those CBA. Now everybody's familiar with the G League, but there's a whole lot of our younger viewers who don't know how that road to get to the NBA used to be. It wasn't just through college. It was finding that CBA league, that USBL league, that where you could play and get paid a little bit,
Yes.
but and what they called semi-pro basketball back in those days. Before the G Leagues and teams that were established with an NBA team, these teams were just in their local communities. And it was a great level of basketball. So much great talent. Like you say, you talk about Chucky Brown, you talk about Eldridge Kedger. I mean, between the CBA and the USBL, there was probably a couple hundred players that made their way into the league, the NBA.
And I remember like George Karl. People in this area is familiar with George Karl, coached the Albany Patroons.
Yep.
Well as Phil Jackson, coached the Patroons. And like I said, we talked about Flip Sanders. We talked about there was some big name people. Like I remember Michael Ray Richardson that just recently passed.
Yep.
He played in the CBA. Very talented individual. I mean, you look up, there's a Hall of Fame up here, and I recognize some of those names like Jeff Bodine Clark. He was a longtime trainer for the Blazers. I remember Kevin Holland playing. Rich Austin, I think he was a GM. Eldridge Gassner, of course. Paul Woopert was a assistant coach with the Sonics.
Yeah.
I think Bernie Bickerstaff gave him an opportunity to coach.
Absolutely, and see, and that's I was gonna point out that Sun Kings banner in there, the NAPB champions in 2018. So it's been recent, and they were part of the original, I think the original TBL, the basketball league that the Seattle Superhawks were part of, and now it sounds like that is moving back to the USBL. So there's going to be a brand new league, and hopefully we'll be able to. We're hearing rumors.
Yeah.
This isn't fact. We're just hearing rumors that there's an opportunity for a team to be back in Yakima. So we're going to be back in the SunDome and getting that next level of basketball, because not everybody can make it over to Eastern. And besides, you can't get a ticket at Gonzaga. So,
Yes.
I mean, you don't get to see these D1 players. You can go to Eastern and watch the Eagles play. You can probably get a Cougars ticket, but you can't get to see one of the premier teams in the country, Gonzaga, because that arena is so tight. It's small.
Yes.
And it's sold out before the season starts.
Yes.
They don't have any tickets for sale.
Oh, they're probably like how the Blazers used to be sold out for years and years.
It's
the waiting list probably is ridiculous.
And that's where I'm going to be excited to be able to go watch the Seattle U Redhawks play Gonzaga on this coming Friday. So I'll be back across this side. Hopefully the weather on the pass will be just as nice. But I'll tell you, we are having a great time. And here we go. Looking at, when we were talking about Eldridge, his name is up on the board, talking about waiting for that call to the next league.
Yes.
Talk to me about Eldridge and his journey here in Yakima.
Yeah, I mean, he really he was playing for a gentleman named Mo McCone, who had a lot of NBA ties. He used to be a coach for the Spurs, I believe. And Eldridge, he really, like the guys that he put around him, they really had a great team. I mean, they were really fun to watch. And this, like I said, this place was packed every night. And I think Eldridge's first call-up was to the Denver Nuggets. He was able to get a 10-day contract, and then I think he came back to the team. They kept on rolling. And then I think his next year or so, he signed with because it was the year after the Houston Rockets won their back-to-back championship. So after their second championship, Eldridge got signed with them, and he spent the whole year with them. As well as Chucky Brown was on the second championship team of the Rockets. Yeah, and then I think they had another gentleman. I think it was 3 guys from Larry Robinson. It was 3 guys from the Sun Kings that end up getting championships with the Houston Rockets.
Well, and see, and that's exactly it. These days, there's lots of opportunity out there. There's all the G League, but there's international opportunities. That kids are getting called up to go play all over the world, from China to Dubai to Iceland. You know, they're playing all over the Latin American leagues. Basketball is truly a global sport now, and the opportunities now are there because of the teams like the Yakima Sun Kings and the leagues like the CBA and players, the trailblazers like Eldridge Kastner, who have the talent and have the skills, but just didn't get that opportunity at the right time.
Yes.
But we're willing to do the work to get there.
Absolutely, because it's not glamorous. I mean, you're riding those guys. We both travel would see those guys trying to squeeze their body into little seats, 7-footers on the planes. There's not no wide-body planes leaving the Yakima airport. They would have to drive sometime. They would drive all the way to the SeaTac airport and take flights from there.
Well, and they take commercial flights.
Commercial.
They're not
no
taking
charters.
They're going through all of the lines, and truthfully, back then in those days, commercial travel was commercial travel, but it was more fun. The airport was a more fun place to be. Before we have all of the security measures that we have to go through now, the airport used to be a place to celebrate. It used to be a place to drop people off and go out to the gates and drop those. And I remember waiting at gates a lot of times for teams to come in.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you could get these players in an opportunity where they weren't having their game faces on, that they were just guys happy to be home, or they were happy to get to a new city, and they were happy to have fans that recognized who they were.
Absolutely.
And these traveling teams like this, the CBA was just a fantastic opportunity for guys to extend their careers and maybe get to a point where they could really get paid for doing it. We got some of the greatest NBA coaches that broke their teeth in these kind of leagues, and the opportunities there for them to hone their skills as a coach, because it's one thing to be able to play the game, it's another thing to be able to teach the game.
Yeah.
And to get people to buy into what you're trying to sell and what offense or defensive schemes that you would like to implement. I mean, when you talk about Phil Jackson, you go to the triangle. And you talk about Rudy, you talk about George, and they all have their own style and their own way to coach, but they have their own philosophies on how to do that and what made a successful team.
And also, partner, I think the most difficult part, and you could tell me, is that when you have players rotating in and out, you might have two guys get called up.
Right.
So now what are you going to do? You want to develop. You still got to win, because you want the city that you're in, the little town, to come out and support, but you want to put a winner on the floor. And you might not know who you have when you come to practice the next day.
Well, and that's exactly it. I mean, very similar to what the MLS does with the Sound. With each other, or instead of playing with each other, they're now playing for each other.